Welcome, everybody, to this week's Distressed Property Call. This podcast and broadcast is brought to you by Home Loan Advocates. That's right, my partner David Bartels at Home Loan Advocate. They specialized in distressed property solutions for buyers, sellers, investors, and realtors across the country. Doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter the situation you're in. If you're working on a distressed property and you need some assistance, call 805-413-8000. Again, that number is 805-413-8000. Ask for David Bartels or visit homeloanadvocates.com. Or if you'd like, send David an email at david@homeloanadvocates.com. This episode is also brought to you by Monster Marketing. That's right. That's the reason this call started and why we do it each and every week. Monster Marketing. It is a direct marketing method that I created to get face-to-face with people that have missed payments. It's literally 3% of the market, some more in other areas, but Monster Marketing guarantees face-to-face results with these people. We will give you proven step-by-step coaching, training, and mentoring so that you can convert those individuals into listings or deals, depending on being a realtor or investor. If you would like to find out more, go visit honish.com. That's HONISH.com.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to your weekly coaching call, broadcast, video, however you watch this, and we appreciate all the new people. My name is Lee Honish. I am a marketing professional. I specialize in targeted marketing for those individuals looking to get more of what they want. And I am joined, as always, by David Bartels of Home Loan Advocates. How are you today, David?
Good morning. I'm doing just great, thank you. It's been a busy day already.
Excellent. David is the top mitigation expert, as voted on by a group of his peers, which makes him chuckle every time, in the entire universe. I can safely say this, in the universe. David, tell everybody about Home Loan Advocates.
Well, we are an aligned organization of real estate professionals that seek to make sure homeowners understand all their alternatives to foreclosure, and which sometimes leads them to have to transition out of a home and into something else, of which time we're obviously able to assist them in doing that. We handle the short sale negotiation part of that and coaching and consulting on foreclosures, distressed properties, loan mods, that kind of thing. But primarily we're in the short sale negotiation business.
There you go. And if you want to reach me and you want to talk about marketing for your business, my number is 858-663-2537. If you'd like to reach David, I don't think you said it, 805-413-8000.
Thank you.
No worries. I'm good at that. As always, for the entire COVID crisis, we're making all of our calls and all of our backlogs available for everybody to get a hold of. Just type in coachingcalls.info. You can join us here live every Wednesday at 10 o'clock, or you can look at the complete archive and enjoy. Onward and upward. David, how is business in the Conejo?
Well, business is really good. I was doing I'm preparing to shoot a video on a market update this morning, and Ventura County, which is the report that I showed up. I just went back 7 days to give you an idea. There were 141 new listings in 7 days, so that's pretty active market. And there was 135 new escrows, which means the buyers are absorbing the inventory. So it's still limited inventory, but there is a lot of pent-up demand and seems to be as good a time as ever to buy and sell real estate.
Excellent. Let's get on to the topic of focusing on generating business and what everybody's doing. Currently, I'm focusing on, for my clients, targeted information, targeted videos, targeted memes, targeted whatever, sharing them into social groups, going back into squeeze pages and capture, and the rates have been about 1%. So the activity is very good. It is a slow process. I want to say this to everybody out there because I see it online all the time. Please be aware of people that are promising leads immediately right now for real estate agents. There are a lot of them out there. I don't think that there's anything immediate coming off the web, in my humble opinion, my professional opinion. Actually, I'll put a decade's worth of experience on this one. It's really a long game. It's branding, it's squeeze pages, it's list building. What's working for you right now in regards to business, David?
Well, I think just, mostly awareness. So the thing that I've been doing is really trying to keep people educated on what's happening in the market as the restrictions are loosening up, and advising them about activity in their individual markets. And in general, just really trying to be of service, providing them the information that they need to figure out what's the right thing to do in terms of timing for what they're going to do. And I think that you're going to see a lot of pent-up demand really unleashed here over the very near future. So it's getting ready to get active. I'm telling sellers to get on the market, and I'm telling buyers to get ready to go. There's going to be a lot of competition.
Yeah, I agree. I think when the agents roar back into the market, I wonder what this actually does from the perspective of the overall real estate market, right? So the question I ultimately have, how many agents actually survived the storm when this all pans out? And is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know one way or the other, or even how to appropriately address that. But my humble opinion is, I don't think a lot of agents are coming back out on the other side of this routine. How is it from your perspective? Do you feel the same kind of flow of agents still in your area?
Well, it's really hard to say because there are a lot of agents who just are, taking a 2-month time out. They've just, sitting on their hands and just waiting for it to blow over, and there's not, much activity of any kind that is going on. And those agents, however they're surviving, whether or not they've decided to take unemployment because they can make more from unemployment, or they got a PPP loan and they figure they can, just justify it as a paid vacation. When they go to start up, they're really going to struggle really getting their engine, warmed up again, as opposed to guys like me and, agents and investors for that matter, that have really used this time to nurture their relationships, to tweak their systems, to gain strategic advantage, and to kind of keep activity moving, the activity flow moving, so that when restrictions are lifted, we bounce higher and farther than everybody else who is jumping from a dead stop as opposed to the running start that we've built. So we've been able to do. We haven't been having great months, but we've been having okay months, which has been really wonderful for us through this, because it could have been a lot worse. So I don't know how much attrition we're going to have, but I think that there's going to be a lot of people who have a year that really suffered because they failed to do the basics when they had this extra time.
Well, that's probably a good place to start, especially we have a good room back again this week. So let's go through the basics and where people should start. We always agree with the first thing on the list, which is maintaining and cultivating and actively engaging your existing list. The simplest process for anybody listening: compile the names of people you've worked with, go dig through your emails. You've got the time, do something productive, stop watching Tiger King. That joke's getting old. I'm going to have to update it to something.
I barely know what Tiger King is, but I do know now.
It's definitely in the vernacular, as they say. And engage your list, right? So for my clients, I recommend Sly Broadcast is probably the easiest way to jumpstart a phone call with a message. Just touch base with your clients and see how they're doing. So let's start simple, touching base with the existing David and just making sure they're okay. Where are you on just sort of doing check-ins?
No, we've been doing. I've been encouraging everybody to do that. We created a text template, an email template, and a call template for people to do it. And basically, all the messages are essentially the same. And that is, hey, I was just, thinking of you, checking in, make sure everything's going okay. And If you need anything, we have some, extra resources. We even, and I was able to get some extra toilet paper, at Costco. And so now we've been offering toilet paper. Even if it's just a roll or two of toilet paper, we're here to help and to kind of lighten it up a little bit. And we've gotten some fun responses from that.
Perfect. Also, again, as David mentioned, email. I've pushed it a million times. You don't have to get crazy CRMs. You don't need crazy processes. Even though I got an email today from David, which tells you how great. Still, David, I'm still in the campaign cycle. I think it was the newsletter. But my point to that is everybody gets caught up on, I need a CRM. CRMs are getting pushed. CRMs are not the solution. CRMs only work if you have the data to put in the CRM. The CRM is not a magical bullet that will automatically get you listings. It's a management system, hence the M in CRM. And I'm always fascinated by that. There's a lot of bright lights and bells and whistles on this particular topic that kind of amuse me. But the truth of the matter is, all you really need for really solid email is to go to MailChimp, which is still free. Most of you don't have client lists of 2,000 people or more. It's very simple to use. It's also got a bunch of features built into it, all for free. You can get out 4 emails per month for free without issue, which is more than most of you are doing currently and keeping track on your old systems. How are your current email rates going for you, David? I know that you have a CRM. You use Follow Up Boss, as I recall.
Right.
How have open rates been, and have you been toying with subject lines, or is everything just on autopilot right now?
Well, it's on autopilot, but I know what we're doing. So I've gotten, I'm just looking at my last email open rates. I sent a Camarillo market update the other day, and I've got 43% opens and 4% clicks. Agora Hills, I got 36% open and 4% clicks. Oxnard, I did an update, 36% opens and 9% clicks. So, the open rates have been very good on those custom emails that we send to targeted, databases. So, so your open rates obviously are going to vary. If I'm sending a Camarillo market update to somebody that lives in Oceanside, probably not going to get open that much. But if I send a Camarillo market update to a seller who who's thinking about selling the house or has a house in Camarillo, then my open rates are going to be much higher. So,
No, go ahead.
Which is really the secret to all this. You can't do the same message to everybody and expect to have great open rates. There's very little content that meets everybody's needs.
I think there's a couple of tricks that always get overlooked that people forget to do. Probably 3 pet peeves if you guys are going to go the email route and actually dig up emails. And I would recommend this, especially for the monster people. Go back through your emails, try to find email addresses, try to find phone numbers. It's a great place to start. But when it comes to email, number one, always personalize your email. One of the greatest features is also personalizing the subject line, which is a feature most people don't know about. The second, please put contact information and good links on your emails, for God's sakes, people. Nothing more frustrating than somebody signing up for a service and it takes me to an article in Newsweek away from your message and your branding. That's kind of a pet peeve. I think I covered all of them. Is there anything else that I've really missed? Oh, personalization. And I agree with David on this. Make it area specific. If you're sending to a targeted zone or a targeted data group, make sure you do it. Moving forward, that's number one. That's your bread and butter. Should be your bread and butter. Bread and butter of many coaches. It's the bread and butter of anybody who's got their sense about them when it comes to making sure that you maintain a steady inflow of leads, either buyers or sellers. Second, direct marketing. What is the current direct marketing strategy for you during the COVID crisis, David? Are we emailing, phone calling? What is kind of the direct campaign right now?
Well, we're doing a lot of outbound calling, so our FISBO program is really taking off. So we're making outbound calls to new FISBO listings and offering them our new for sale with owner program. And obviously we're doing email, we're doing direct mail as well to our sellers, with limited success, but we are doing that. And in general, just trying to stay in touch, and everything that we send has bait in it, clickbait. And so we're not just looking for open rates, we're really looking at clicks. And the people who are clicking versus opening are the ones that are getting more aggressive follow-up. And we're doing a lot of remarketing. Maybe the biggest thing we're doing is remarketing. So people going to our website, our Facebook pages, clicking on our stuff. We're just continuing to put our message in front of them over and over again.
David, are you using technology to follow people around the web like the big hitters? My gosh.
I am, yes. We're doing it in a very cool way, yes.
Sorry, I had a discussion with somebody and they're like, that's not a thing. I said, oh, it's a thing. It's not just a thing.
Definitely a thing.
If you really don't want everything listening to you, you close your computer at night and unplug your Alexa. Please, please, please do it if you don't want to be heard all the time. With that said, I'll make the push for monster marketing with the obvious COVID-19 restrictions dropping in most places and in some states already just sheer pandemonium. And I feel bad for you people in those states. I mean, I really do. You didn't even have a chance to flatten the curve a little bit. They just went right back to work. Now is the opportunity to really portray yourself as an advocate. And the monster process is still as simple as it was day one when I created it. You create a marketing piece based on people who've missed payments. And as we discussed last week, that's going to be a thing. In fact, today, if we didn't really have something to talk about, I'm looking at countless articles and people frustrated with not getting into the forbearance agreements that they thought they were in. They didn't know the credit impacts. I'm scheduled to do a radio interview next week to discuss yet again the changes to the forbearance agreements and what that really means, and what the bank's really up to. So I believe that getting data of people who have missed payments at this point, NODs, notice of sales, I realize that the banks are basically halting because I've said it before, I'll say it again. Once the government said we're taking kind of a moratorium on foreclosures, they're going to basically do it to everything because it's easier to do it for everything than for an individual section of files. I'm not saying the foreclosures aren't occurring. I'm just saying it's not the same right now. But come July, as we've discussed, will be the first cycle of people who had 90-day forbearance agreements, and they're going to be greatly affected. In fact, most of the articles that I've been reading, David, let's talk right here about the data for a second. We talked about it last week, and now it's starting to really happen, right? People are just now squeaking over May, or those that did forbearance agreements are now rapidly coming up on June and July. This is about to get very real for a lot of people very fast and not being able to make the next payment on their mortgages.
I think that's right, and I think that you're going to have a lot of people who misunderstand what forbearance means too, and that's going to cause a real headache.
As I was reviewing, for everybody involved, as I was reviewing our advocate marketing material that we, through Advocate Marketing, David Bartels' creation, and the information that we've provided for you to work with people who've missed payments, there's nothing that needs to change within the parameter of what we're dealing with. The only difference is, I think people really want to stay in their house. I don't know if they actually can or if they really understand that, David, but basically, I don't see any changes that need to happen with the actual physical material of the presentation itself. As I've looked at it and used it for squeeze pages, the alternatives to foreclosures, and the basic information that we've been putting out for literally a decade now, it's fairly concurrent. It didn't really matter that it was a COVID situation. The reality is it's just another missed payment. And I think that that's the general fear of most agents, even some of the people here on this call, talking about it like this isn't a special circumstance. This is the circumstance that caused the missed payment. But being a homeowner advocate, as we profess it, doesn't change the presentation or the way that we handle our business.
I I think that's exactly right. I mean, you might be able to get away with doing a Zoom meeting here, but at the end of the day, people want some personal interaction. If you're not going to personally engage with them, then they could, do it over the web with somebody else.
And for those of you out of the loop of doing the monster, it is still just as simple. Get your hands on some data, get it however you're going to get it. Then print it up on the patented, copywritten, and voted on by a group of its peer best marketing piece of all time. Place the information on it as we laid it out, unique identifiers. We have lightening of the guidelines, so all you got to do is put it on the outside of a mailbox, a garage door, and wait for them to call. If you're uncomfortable meeting face-to-face or you think it's going to affect anything, just call into your call center and make a slight adjustment for, instead of a face-to-face at the door, set it up for a direct meeting. And that way you're guaranteed to get an email address. It's always about data at this point. I would do the monster right now, David, just as a point of reference, just changing the script just so that I was capturing phone numbers and emails. I don't know if anybody really wants to meet. I don't think anybody's going to be in a position until they hit the wall of looking at what does 90 days look like? What does it look like when I owe the bank now, $6,000 to $9,000 on a balloon? I think it's no different than an NOD or a notice of sale. What I find really interesting, there are no attorneys sniffing around this for some reason. Boy, the federal government scares off attorneys really fast.
Well, not yet. Well, the banks haven't done anything wrong yet.
Right.
So we'll see.
But time will tell. And certainly take advantage of that with the Monster. If you'd like to find out more about Monster Marketing, please go to honish.com, fill out the form. I will be happy to talk to you about it. Last but not least, a topic that we hit on quite a lot, and we broadcast a lot, and I will continue to do so because I realize most of you are spending a bulk of your free time on it. Okay. It is using social media marketing. And what was very amusing to me, Sharon, shout out to Sharon. Sharon, who's on the call yesterday, says she was at a board meeting that was trying to imply that TikTok was a great venue to start looking for leads. And I basically wrote that that was extremely laughable. I'm not sure exactly what you can convey in 15 to 30 seconds on a TikTok without followers that would generate leads. I am not out of touch. I'm quite aware of what TikTok is. I know how TikTok works. I just can't. This reminds me of when they were on a big push to make Snapchat part of. Here's my question, David, as a broker with a lot of agents. How do you personally view the latest TikTokian, Snapchatian, get quick, get lead way of getting leads, having tried just about every method like me, and you see the latest, well, if you got involved in TikTok, you'd certainly get listings kind of presentations that are out there?
You'd have to start by explaining to me what TikTok is. I mean, I know what it is.
That's a good start. Okay, so much like Snapchat, it is a very, first of all, the problem with TikTok, which most people don't realize, which is why it was funny when Sharon told me that her board was doing a presentation. It's designed for 13-year-olds. It's designed for teenagers. I don't know. I could be wrong, David. Do you have a lot of teenagers purchasing property or selling property?
I don't know. I put it this way. I'm not doing anything on that. I mean, I find Facebook is really the premium place to be for leads, and we're starting to venture into other things like pay-per-click, but not all that others. I mean, we're on Instagram, but we don't generate leads from it. I mean, we just generate brand awareness.
Right. And this is what I say to everybody. If you really want to look at the latest technology and your board's giving a presentation, go listen to it. But the reality is it's very simple to type into Google demographics, TikTok, demographics, Snapchat, and you will see that their target audience for actually both of those products are between the ages of 13 and 19. And I'm quite confident to tell you this, that that is not your buying and selling market. Facebook is still demographically exactly what you're after. It's targetable, it's perfect data. And I can give you the numbers of what you're shooting for. Most of us, if you're not paying to boost your post, you should be happy to reach a few thousand people each and every week with whatever message you post. Make sure it goes into some kind of funnel, right? I use squeeze pages for my clients. I try to use video that's longer than 3 minutes and 1 second, so it gets more of a reading by Facebook. And I brand the videos. And I make sure that even if somebody's there for 3 to 6 seconds, somebody knows the name of my client and they know that what their phone number is and what their location is. And you can target directly. So what you can see with Facebook are sort of the half truths of who I got listings out of groups. Yeah, well, that's where they are. I mean, that's where people are. But again, it comes down to your content. It comes down to a solid squeeze page and capture system, and they work exceptionally well. Do you track and monitor the number of forms you get filled out, or is that just all completely automated at this point for you, David?
No, it is not completely automated, and I'm not sure how accurately we track the actual forms. But I guess we don't track forms, but what we are tracking, which I think is the same thing, is leads generated that come from the forms.
Right.
So yes, no, it's automated, but we also compile that into a spreadsheet. So daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly.
And the game is, and it sounds more like direct marketing, but what makes online marketing a little more unique for everybody, just so you know, 1% on the web is a lot cheaper than 1% from a mail response. A lot cheaper. It's like a night and day difference of engagements to click rates to actual data gathered. And if you're doing it correctly, the information you get is way better than most of the lead systems out there, where you seem to follow up with people who don't even realize they filled out forms. And I'm not even sure how that actually exists, but that appears to be a thing. I think that covers the 3 basic topics. Is there anything else you could probably suggest for people out there to really jumpstart? Truthfully, the biggest thing I would say to get the ball rolling is you got to do something. I mean, doing nothing is probably the worst part of this whole thing. And I get the trap and I get the depression. It's very common to be down and be depressed and not make a next move. But strategically planning and implementing any kind of strategy seems to be incredibly important right now, especially with the easing of the restrictions.
Well, all I can say is don't do nothing. That's really my best advice. Do something, do anything, but not nothing. And this is an activity that equals productivity business. And the people who are active today, even though it feels like they're not making any forward progress, are really missing the purpose. The activity leads to productivity, even if it's delayed productivity. And the agents who run around looking for low-hanging fruit and only sell people that they bump into that are ready to do a transaction today are the same ones that are struggling to find something to eat. So, most of the activity we do today does not bear fruit until the future at some point, sometimes sooner and sometimes later. I mean, another one, 4 years in our database, ready to get active now. And had we not put them in our database, not tracked them, not stayed in touch with them, not sent them emails, not sent them newsletters, believe me, when she was ready to go, she wouldn't have she wouldn't have engaged with us. So
Absolutely.
these are all, activity equals productivity, even if it's not immediate productivity.
I can't stress this enough with the number of people I've worked with who are either I've been close with, as well as people that hire me. Don't look at the mountain that's in front of you, especially if you're at the bottom of it. You've really got to look at the next possible step. And the next possible step for many of you, I'll say it again and I'll go back to it. The next basic step for all of you really is just send something out. Just, send an email, do a voice blast, do something. Don't sit on the sideline. Create some unique marketing online. Try to build your brand. I was just checking the numbers from my last week's campaign for 3 of the people that I've created drip lines for. And I'll say it again. Over the course of a week, they're averaging about, let's see, in this one case, a couple hundred views, 338 views. Victoria got 338 views. Good for you. 191 for Tina, and 300 plus for Michael. And the reason I'm telling you guys this, I don't think anybody's watching the video. I'm only getting 1% to actually click on the squeeze page. That's not what it's about. What they saw was, can't make payments. Are you unemployed? Call this person or click the link above. That's all I did. Okay. And when you've got hundreds of people in your market and you keep doing it and replicating it, right? Next step, then you will start to generate leads. But you got to do something to move forward. David, tell them about Home Loan Advocates one more time.
Well, if you need help with a short sale, you got a distressed client that needs any kind of assistance trying to figure out what their options are, we're here to help. David Bartels, Home Loan Advocates, 805-413-8000, 805-413-8000, and you can email me, david@homeloanadvocates.com.
If you would like to find out about Monster Marketing, direct marketing with guaranteed face-to-face, or I can't say guaranteed video results because that's not really tested, but I can say guaranteed face-to-face results. Probably even these times, I'm sure you'll probably get one. But the idea now is to collect information and to get started with it. You can go to honish.com and fill out the form. If you'd like to find out about drip leads, line leads, live broadcast, spend an hour with me and just talk marketing that will make my head hurt. Because yes, people call me up and want to talk about mail marketing, which makes me smile because they had to hear it from a show like this. And everyone knows how I feel about mail marketing. I review marketing pieces. I do my very best to try to help you guys be successful, because if you're successful, then I'm successful, David's successful. It's a symbiotic relationship. It is not a cutthroat business. I don't believe that about real estate. And the people who treat this as a cutthroat business are, 1, miserable people, my personal experience. They're extremely selfish, number 2. And number 3, they're not as successful as they could be if they create relationships. Again, go to honish.com, fill out the form, or call me, 858-663-2537. Just send me a text. Last, go to coachingcalls.info. There's a veritable archive. Stop watching the Tiger King. Go watch an old meeting, and we will be back next week with more for you.